Good afternoon, students. Welcome at this contact session for Numeracy and Mathematics 2, NM22. For those of you who don't know me by now, I'm Mr. L. van Wyk. My cell phone number 081-122-6776 that you see on the screen, and that is my email address louis@mweb.com.na, and the contact hours from 5 to 7 in the evening, weekdays only. Students, now what is the aim of this presentation? First, to guide you through the study guide and study material and to prepare you for your exams and assignments in 2022. Please listen very carefully and try to go through the work as indicated. I am not going to give many examples as all the information is in your study guide. Your study guide is the most important source and document that you need. Assignment instructions. All assignments are done online. Please follow the online instructions very carefully and show all your steps and calculations. In the past, I've experienced students that download the assignment, then they download it in Notepad, and then the whole format is totally wrong. And then when they upload it, sometimes they upload an empty assignment. Now students, for the assignments as well as for the exams, do not send me assignments and exams. I won't accept it. You must send it directly to IOL. I hope that is very clear. Let's have a look at the examination instructions. Questions should only be answered online. Like I said, ensure that you have enough data that you can download the document in a Word format, fill in the columns, and upload it back to the portal. The mark allocation is a guideline only for the time needed to answer each question. Students can use a calculator unless otherwise indicated. I say again, show all your calculations. I've experienced students where a question is 5 marks and they only give me an answer. So 4 marks is gone. Ensure that you show your calculations. Look also at the marks allocated for each question. No unauthorized material, notes, technical devices, watches may be in your possession. Good. Study Unit 1. How to read and interpret data. You need to know the difference between a pie chart, a bar chart, a table, and a pictograph. There's an example of a pie chart, a bar graph, a table, and a pictograph. I see sometimes students get confused with a bar graph and a table. Ensure that you know the difference if I ask that in the exams or the assignments. Now, study how to read and interpret data from each of the above mentioned charts and tables. I can ask you to draw a table. Sometimes, especially in the exam, I will ask you to interpret the data. Show how to calculate the arithmetic mean, for example, the average. There's the mean, the sum of the items divided by the number of items. So if there's 5 items, you add it up, you get the sum, and you divide it by 5, which is the number of items. Read further on the value of statistical information. Why is it important? Study Unit 2. Operations with whole numbers. Here the significance of a digit's place and position is very important. The value of the digit is important. Example, tens or tenth. Let's have a look at that one. Millions, 100,000, 10,000, thousands, hundreds, tens, and units. If I ask you, what is the value of tens? How many tens are there? There are 9. So the value is 90, 90. The hundreds value is 600. The thousands is 8,000. That is the value of each of those. But the unit is, for example, tenths. 9/10 is 90, the value. You must know the difference. Then, the four main operations are addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. In study unit 2, they explain it very, very in detail. Ensure that you know how to do that. Also know how to solve two-step problems and word problems in study unit 2. In study unit 3, terminology and operations with common fractions. Now, there's an example of a common fraction. The top one is called a numerator, the number of parts we have, and the one below is called the denominator, total parts that you have. If you have a pizza and you divide it in 5, then it's called a denominator because it's 5 parts. It forms a whole. If you eat 2 pieces, that's called the numerator, 2 over 5. So you've eaten 2. Ensure that you know the difference. This one is very important. All the terminology with common fractions, thirds, halves, quarters, fifth, sixth, 10th, 12th. You must know how many of each of those are in a whole. For example, 12s, there are 12 wholes in one part. Ensure that you know that and master that correctly. For example, in study unit 3 also, you have a little pie chart. You see there, number 1. I will ask you, is it a half, is it a 3/4, is it a quarter or 1/3? How many parts are there? 4. So now you know it is quarters, it's 4. How many are colored? 1. So the answer will be number 3, 1 over 4. Not like some students said 3 out of 4. If I want the colored part, it's 1 out of 4. Number 2, for example, 2/3, 2/4, 1/4 and a half. How many parts are there? 2. How many is colored? 1. So it's a half, and so on. Make sure that you know that, because sometimes students give me, in that case, number 2, it should be a half, they give me 2/4. It is not wrong, but that's not the answer that I want. So ensure that you know what you need to write down. Different types of fractions. A proper fraction. There's an example, 4 over 5. Improper fraction is where the numerator is higher than the denominator. 12 over 7. A mixed number where there's a fraction with a whole number in front. A decimal number, for example, 3/4 is 0.75 because it's 75% of 100. Percentages, 10 over 100 is 10%. 30 over 100 is 30%. 300 over 1,000 is also 30%. Fractional parts of quantities. For example, I will give you an example here. How much is 3/5 of 120? Where you see the word 3/5 of, the word of, then you know, for example, 3/5 times 20, because of can be a multiplication, equals 3 over 24. Now where do you get a 24? It's 120 divided by the 5, the numbers. It gives you 24, and then you multiply it, you get 72. So what is the answer? 72 is 3/5 of 120. Now, do not give me an answer only if I ask you to show the calculations. For example, that question can be 3 marks. Now you just give me 72. Then you only get 1. The other 2 is lost. Ensure that you read what are you supposed to give me. Look at 3.5 in a study guide, the 3-step problem. That is also my favorite. Example 1. Peter wants to buy a bicycle of the cost of $750. His father promises to give him 2/5, only 2/5. The money on condition that he saved the rest for his pocket money. So how much do you need? He needs 3/5 to make $750. Step 1. calculate how much Peter's father will give him. And there's a calculation. So his father give him 2/5, that is $300. How much must Peter save? He must save $750 minus the 300 his dad gave him. So he needs 450. And how long will he need to save that? If he saves, like I said, $45 a month, it will take 10 months. That question can easily count 5 marks. So ensure, I want to see your calculations. Study Unit 4, decimal fractions. Now, students, it seems that students get confused with ascending. You see the arrow goes up. Descent if you go down the mountain. Ascent is up the mountain. Descent down the mountain. Look at example 1. 3,45, 2,54, 4,76, 4,67. Now, let's take the last two. There's two 4s. 476, 467. Which one is the smallest? 467, that's correct. So the first one is 467, then 4,76. But now there's other two numbers as well. Now you have to look at the whole numbers. There's a 3, there's a 2, a 4, and a 4. So which is the smallest? 2.54 is the first letter. 3.45 is the second one. And then we said 4.67 and then 4.76. In that order. That means from small to large. Okay. Example 2, the same there, descent. 1,04, 2,43, 0,30, 0,03. So, which one is the smallest? 0,03. So you start by 2,43, then the next one is a 1. 1,04, 0,30, and 0,03. That is descending down. Make sure you know the difference, please. Now, let's have a look how to convert decimal fractions to common fractions. That is in Study Unit 4. Students, I will ask you some of these questions. You need to know how to convert. Examples. 0,3 means 0 units, 3, what is that? It's 3/10. So that's 3 over 10. 0,9, 9 over 10. Next one, 0,23. It is 0,2 and 3 hundredths. So it's 23 over 100. 67 over 100. The last one, 0,453 is 453 over 1,000. Because it is thousandths. There's a difference between tenth with a th at the end and a 10 with no th at the end. A 10 is above 0 and tenth with a th is below 0. Good, let's continue. Study Unit 5, Terminology for and Operations of Money. How to express money in a decimal notation. Have a look at that. Add and subtract amounts of money. If you know how to do the 4 main calculations, then you would know how to subtract money, for example. The concept of profit and loss, cost price and selling price needs special attention. I will say again, profit and loss, cost price, selling price. For example, I bought a cell phone for $100, I sell it for $120. How much profit do I make? $20. If I sell it for $80, I make a loss of $20. I'll give you a few examples. Peter bought a laptop for $2,500 Namibian dollars and then sold it at a profit of 10. Calculate the selling price of the laptop. Now, what is the first important thing? A profit. So it means you make money. You don't lose money. Loss is losing. Profit is making money. Profit is 10% of 2,500. How much is 10% that we say? It's 10 over 100 times 2,500 over 1. Then you do the mathematics and you get 10 times 25 and it gives you $250. Now, that is the profit he made. What was the cost price? $2,500 plus the profit. So now he sold it for 2,750. He made a nice profit. You understand that? Make sure you know how to do that. Study Unit 6. Terminology for and operations for measures of length, mass and capacity. We use the metric system, the SI system. The metric system for measurement has 3 basic units of measurement. I've asked it once and most students got it wrong. The unit for length is meter with symbol N. The unit for mass is the kilogram with symbol kg. And the unit for time is the second with a symbol of S. If you write liter, it is wrong. That is the 3 units. Ensure that you know them by heart. With these 3 units, you can measure everything, nearly everything in the world. Now, study Unit 6, also have a look at that one. That is very important. If you look at this video, rewind it and look at this slide again. If I have 0.1 millimeter, for example, and I times it with 10, then the comma move to the right. So 0.1 times 10 is 1. So if you see there on top, the comma moves to the right. If you divide it, 1 divided by 10, it's 0.1. So the comma moves left. So for multiplication, the comma moves right, and below for division, it moves left. That is very important. Make sure you know that. Also ensure that you know the 4 basic operations of length, mass, and capacity. Practice, practice, practice conversions from length, mass, and capacity over and over. For example, if I have 1,000 millimeter, it is 1 meter. 1,000 meters is 1 kilometer. If I have 1 liter, it is 1,000 milliliter. 1 kilogram is 1,000 milligram. Or 1,000 kilograms, for example, is a ton. Learn this. You must learn it and then you won't forget it. Good. Now, terminology and readings of time, study Unit 7. A second, the symbol is S. I see in the exams and the assignment, students write everything except what is expected from them. Have a look there. Second is S, minute is min, hour is H, day is D, week, month, a year. The second is a basic unit that we use to measure time. 1 second is about as long as it takes to say 1001. 2 seconds would be 1001, 1002. That is 1 second. 1 minute, this you should learn. You should learn this, that you remember it. 1 minute is 60 seconds. Important. 1 hour is 60 minutes. 1 day is 24 hours. 1 week is 7 days. 1 month is approximately 4 weeks. 1 year is 12 months. But then I can ask you, if you have a leap year, then February, for example, would have 29 days, not 28. So if you ask you, calculate a leap year, February should be 366 days in a year, not 365. That is the things you should learn, that you don't forget it. A calendar year is 365 days. A leap year is 366 days. A decade, that is 10 years. If I ask you, how many years is a decade? It's 10. A century is 100 years or 10 decades. Previous means coming before, and current, the present time, what's happening now. And future, still to happen. Okay. Good. Terminology and readings of time. Ensure that you know the difference. Students, please. I've seen students get easily confused with readings of time. AM is ante-meridium. Learn it. It means before noon. What is noon? Noon is 12 o'clock in the afternoon. So we are now past noon. We're now in the afternoon. So AM is from 12 at night to 12 o'clock midday. PM is post-meridium, afternoon, from 12 o'clock in midday, 12 o'clock at night. Then, know the difference between a 12-hour clock and a 24-hour clock. At the bottom, I gave you a picture that you won't forget it, so you can learn that picture. Good. Now, this is also stuff that you need to learn. Obtuse angle, acute angle, a point, a ray, parallel lines, a line segment, a right angle, perpendicular lines, and an intersecting line. Know that. That's things you have to learn. I can ask you to draw those lines. I can even ask, give you the examples. You must put in the answers and so on. Make sure that you know that. Good. Angles. Study Unit 8. Acute angle. A right angle. Have a look at that. Acute angle is between 0 and 90. A right angle is exactly 90 degrees. Some students write 90 degrees Celsius. Celsius has nothing to do with an angle. Celsius is where you measure heat or cold. It's only 90 degrees. It's not 90 degrees Celsius. It's two different things, please. Obtuse angle, that is between 90 and 180. A straight angle is 180 degrees exactly. And the reflex angle, that is more than 180. You must know the differences between all those angles, please. There's a right angle triangle. It's exactly one angle is 90 degrees. There's an isosceles triangle. It has equal sides and equal angles. An isosceles triangle has two sides that are of equal length and two angles that have the same size. Equilateral triangle, there's the one where all three sides are the same. Please, students, know the difference between these things. I will ask you these. I asked during the assignment and the exams, I cover every unit. You have 10 study units, I ask questions from every study unit. 3-dimensional and 2-dimensional shapes, the square, the parallelogram, the rhombus, the trapezium. Have a look at the different types of quadrilateral and especially the properties. Very important. Then there's also a list of geometric shapes 2D. That is, you can just learn that for extra that you know more than there's, for example, scalene triangle, a right triangle, acute triangle, a trapezium, a kite, a parallelogram. There's also a regular pentagon, and so on. Have a look at that in Study 8. Also this one in Study Unit 8, a sphere, a cube, a square-based pyramid. You see that a square-based pyramid and a cone is not the same. A square-based pyramid has a square base, while a cone has a round base. For example, have a look at that. Then ensure you know how to calculate the perimeter and the area of the shapes. Please go through the calculation of volume very thoroughly. Students, I will ask you perimeter. I will also ask you the area. I will ask you. Ensure that you know how to do it. For example, the second one, a rectangle. The perimeter is the line on the outside. If you have a fence around your house, that is your perimeter. Have a look there. The perimeter answer is 2 times the length plus 2 times the width. If the length is 4, it's times 2. If 4 times 4, 16. If it's 2 the width, 2 times 2 it's 4. So the perimeter is 20, for example. The area, it is the length times the width. So it's 4 times 2, it is 8. Okay, ensure that you know the differences. Especially the rectangle, the square, and those things you need to know. Good. Let's take this one, number A. I bought a farm, or I bought something 2 centimeter. That's only the plan that I have of the farm. 2 centimeter, 4 centimeter, 2 centimeter, 4 centimeter. Now you see on the left hand side, there's no length. But if you look on the right hand side, it's 4 plus 2. So the length on the left hand side is 6. Now you can add all those to get a perimeter. Same with number B. There's a side on top, 6 at the bottom, 4 at the bottom, so top should be 10. Okay, I hope you understand that. Make sure that you know that. That is a perimeter. Study Unit 9 and 10. Now students, there's a lot of information in these study units 9 and 10. Teaching and learning activities and materials for grade 2 and grade 3 mathematics. Read through this for examples how to present a lesson in different areas of mathematics. So, especially I can ask you, write down a lesson with where you estimate, do estimation of the students. And the reason I want you, I don't leave it out. I want you to read through this and make sure that you learn from it, that you can also, when you stand in front of the class, you can apply the things that you have learned in study unit 9 and 10. There's nice examples how to, for example, give a lesson in estimation. Go through that, and some questions can come from study unit 9 and 10. General remarks, students. Use the internet to expand your knowledge. Please be accurate in your workings and answers. If you give me an answer which is correct, but the calculations is wrong, how do I know where did you get the answer? So ensure that your calculations is correct. Do not leave out any questions. I have experienced students just leave out 1 and 2 questions, especially when they are pressed for time. They leave out the last questions or so on. Do not leave it. Try, maybe you'll get a few marks there. Then, a very important aspect I want to emphasize is the last point here, the bullet point. The learning activities is important as you can use them to practice the content. Good. Now, students, I hope it's clear. I would like to wish you all the best for the upcoming exams. Don't wait until the last moment. Start and prepare early, then there's no pressure on you, and then if you do good in assignments, you will do good in the exam. Just adhere to all the things I've asked you to do, and I can guarantee you that you will get good marks. Good. Have a look at the slogan there at the bottom. Remember, education is the greatest equalizer. Remember that. Thank you very much. All the best of luck.